Okay, so the reason I get Amy at the last is basically here in the print statement, I wrote printing students after the first name, but in the code, I used last names here. Okay, so let's consider based on the code here, last names, last names. So all Browns together, Landon and Smith. Okay, so now what I need to do in order to based on my requirement, I would be using first name and o dot get first name. It should be uppercase, I guess. And now when you when you execute this part, you would be able to get Amy, Betty, BE first, Bobby, Robert, Scott, and Twyla. Okay, so this is how we have done the natural order sorting based on the first name. Okay, so now you might be able to ask some question. So if it is a string, I would be able to do that like this, right? So for example, last name we have seen, and we have seen the first name also. And what about if it is an integer type? Okay, so let's see an integer type here. So this is of type integer. I'm changing this my type to integer here. So int, and then this is also int, and we have to change one more here when we read this, which is nothing but next int. Okay, and everything else should be right. Okay, so it is working. So basically what I have done is I changed my ID number to int from string. So basically now we could be able to see how we can sort based on the ID number. Return ID number dot compare to, so basically we are not getting ID number because string is of type object. That's why we will be able to dot, and we are going to get the methods of that from that object. Whereas ID number is a primitive data type, you won't get the methods, which you already know that. So for that, what we are doing is we are going to use wrapper class integer dot compare ID number, which is nothing but this ID number, and you are comparing with student, which is o dot ID number, o dot get ID number, or ID number. Both are same because you are in the same class. You could be able to access the private variables. Okay, so let me comment out this statement. So basically we are going to use this. So now if you run this, so since this is natural order sorting, we are going to use comparable interface, and that overrides compare to method. And so this is printing students in natural order sorting based on ID number. You don't have to change anything here. So basically you would be calling collections.sort. So collections.sort automatically go and check whether it is implementing comparable interface or not. If it is implementing comparable interface, it will check based on what you are going to implement. Here I changed my code based on the ID type. So if I run based on the ID type, you could see 20, 111, 222, 300, 322, and 345. So lowest to highest. That's a natural order sorting. And if you want to compare based on your GPA, that would be return. You could be able to tell the code now what wrapper class we will be using. Double dot compare this dot GPA to not this dot, o dot get GPA. Okay, so very simple. And now you can go here based on GPA. I'm changing here just to be consistent, otherwise I may confuse with the output. 2.5, 2.98, 3.0, 3.57, 3.7, and 40. Okay, so basically we are sorted based on our natural order sorting on all different data types of our attributes, right? So one thing I want you to notice here, we are using compare method from the wrapper classes, whereas here we are using compare to method. That means what? Please note that this is not a recursion. We are not calling the same method here. However, we are calling the compare to method from the string class. What that mean is, the string class is already existing class, and it is already implementing comparable interface. It is already, string class is already implementing comparable interface, and whenever you implement a comparable interface, you have to override the compare to method. So that means string class is already implemented class, already existing class, and that class already implemented comparable interface, and they have their definition of compare to method. Based on the definition of the compare to method, they are going to compare the attributes there. Okay, so that's why we are using compare to. This compare to method is from the string class. Okay, so this is with a natural order sorting. I want to show you one more example here in a driver class at the end. So basically, integer x is equal to 10 and integer y is equal to 20, and now I'm going to use system.out.println x dot compare to of y. Okay, so now you got x here, x dot. Whenever we did x dot, we got compare to here. But in the past, whenever I did id number dot, I didn't get anything because id number was declared as a primitive data type int, whereas here I have declared clearly as integer, so which is a class object type. So that's why I'm getting method. Okay, so which is simple. Don't get confused there. So xy, let me do xx and let me do yx. I want to see when you will get positive, when you will get negative, when you will get 0. So basically you all agree that x dot compare to of x would get 0, and if this is less, if this is a lower value, you are going to get negative. So x is lower than y, right? So basically you're going to get a negative value, and you are going to get a positive value because this is greater, so, and this is lower, you are going to get a positive value. Okay, I don't know what value is that, but we'll see. You may get 1 sometimes, or you may not get. Okay, so which is negative, 0, and positive. So this is basically for your practice or information that I showed, which is not anything related to sorting example that we are discussing now. Okay, so the next thing in our Word document is overriding natural order sorting. So far what we have done, we have sorted based on the natural order. Overriding the natural order sorting means basically we have to get from highest to lowest, maybe highest GPA to lowest GPA, or we might be able to consider if the last names are same, then we could sort based on the first name, something like that. Okay, so for that we already know that there are 2 sort methods. So we are going to use the second sort method there. Okay, for that we are going to use comparator interface of type student. So let me do that here itself in my NetBeans. So here itself. Okay, so basically what we want to do, overriding natural order sorting. We are overriding the natural order sorting here. So in order to override the natural order sorting, we need to do, let's say, collections dot sort. Okay, so first one is taking only the list, second one is taking comparator, right? So basically we are going to take student list, and we are going to do new, and we are going to use new comparator of type student. Okay, so we already know that comparator is an interface. So new comparator means we are creating object. We already know that you cannot create instance of an object. However, you can create an instance of object when you implement the abstract method, right? So basically that's what we are doing now. So basically you could be able to do, no, not this one. So how to create object? So class name is equal to new class name and then put parenthesis. Then you would be able to see something. Okay, now you see implement all the abstract methods. So basically we have implementing all the abstract methods. If you want to, you need to import the comparator here, automatically imported for me. Maybe for you have to import if you want. And whenever you use comparator, what method you have to override? You have to override the compare method. Okay, so I am removing this part here. So now look at this here. So basically from here until here, it's all one argument. Okay, so my sort method is taking student list and then comparator. That comparator I cannot create object because it is a interface. However, I can create object if I implement the if I implement the abstract methods. The abstract methods is compare. Do not get confused. For comparable, it should be compare to method. For comparator, it is compare method. So important for multiple choice questions. Do not get confused. Okay, so now what I'm doing here, so I'm doing my logic here. If my last names are same, because I have several browns, brown, 4 browns, right? If my last names are same, then I would compare with my first name. So look at the output here in my console. Brown Betty, Brown Bobby, Brown Robert. Okay, so I have 3 browns. So now what I need to do is I want to be able to, if my last names are same, I would be comparing with my first names. I think fortunately it has been sorted already. The GPAs are like that, but we will be able to see here in just a second. If if my last names are same, right? So here you see O1 instead of O1 you could put student 1, student 2, S1, S2. So if S1 dot get last name dot compare to S2 dot get last, sorry, S2 dot get last name. What's happening here? So that means what? When S1 dot compare to of S2 dot last name, that means the first student last name and the second student last name is comparing. Is same means basically is equal to 0, is same. Then what we have to do? We have to compare based on my first name, right? So S1 dot get first name dot compare to of S2 dot get first name. Okay, so basically I'm going to return that. Okay, I think I need to use a parenthesis here somewhere. And no parenthesis here. Okay, and then I'm going to put my semicolon. So what we are doing is, if both last names are same, you are comparing with the first name. Since the first names and last names are string, I'm going to use compare to method, which is coming from the string class. Else what should happen? If both the last names are not same, then what should happen? Sort by last name itself. Dot compare to S2 dot get last name. Okay, so this is what we have done by overriding the natural order sorting. Okay, so just want to get some kind of idea here. Instead of GPA, I'm commenting the statement. Just want to see the difference in the output. Let me do with the ID number. Okay, so with integer, I just sorted and then I printed. Let me print this. 20 brown twilight. See, 20, I mean, sorted 2011, 2022, sorry, not 2022, 222, 300, 322, and 345. I got Twyla first, Amy second, Betty this. But what we need sort by, if we want to override the natural order sorting, instead of GPA, it should be ID number. And we want to sort by. So now we are going to override the natural order sorting. We didn't print anything here. So let me print system.out.println. Put a couple of asterisks. Overriding the natural order sorting. And then this. And then I'm going to print the you don't have to use collections.sort again because this is for natural order sorting, and we already used collections.sort here, and we are printing directly the student list. Or you could move this print statement here. You could move the print statement here, and we are printing the student list itself. Print student list, and you pass the student list here. So basically, you are printing, you're overriding the natural order sorting, and then you are printing the list. So basically, whatever the list that you are going to print here is overridden by natural order sorting. So basically, look at here. You got brown, 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 and Betty, Bobby, Robert, Twyla. So Betty B comes first, BO, Robert, Twyla, and Scott and Amy. Okay, so this is how you would be able to sort based on the not the natural order sorting, but overriding the natural order sorting. And you can do one more thing, so which is simple. What I will do is, right now what you did, you have created this as an anonymous implementation here, but you could do it in a separate class also. So I'm creating one more class called student comparator, student comparator, finish. This is bad. I don't know why I have this by default. What I did, I don't know. Create a new class called student comparator. Student comparator class, finish. Very good. So, and in the past, what we have done, implements, IMPLEM, implements, comparable, right? Now what you can do is, you could implement comparator. So comparator I'm showing in two different ways. One by using anonymous, one by using separate class itself. Student here, and you know what will happen. You have to import this, and you know what will happen. You have to implement all the abstract methods. So basically, I have one compare method. I'm going to use that for now. So now you see this. What's happening here? You got student S1, S2 there. I mean, we changed, you remember that? S1, S2. Okay. And now what we are doing is, we are doing S1 dot based on GPA. And just want to have some difference. GPA is less than s2 dot get GPA. I'm returning 1. So basically, I have to return some integer, okay? Whether you don't know whether you have to return -1 +1 0, you know at least 0, okay? So if both are same, that you have to do that. So, once you see the output, you can go back and change those values actually. Yes, 1 dot get GPA is equal to yes2 dot get GPA return 0. Very good, because both are same. At least you should not make mistake there. Other two things, then I can understand that. Else if, not else, basically this is the last condition. You return -1. Okay, so that's all. So basically whatever we have done, the whole this part, we put this as an argument in the previous thing here. Okay, so the whole thing is in one argument. So now I'm writing one more system.out.println overriding the GPA using separate class. Okay, and now we have to use collections dot sort, right? We have to use collections dot sort, and the first argument we are going to take student list, and then second one is comparator. Okay, so now what we need to do here for the comparator, we would be able to create new, we have to create object, right, which is student comparator, because we created that student comparator class. And now we are going to print the student list. Let me run. Okay, so basically GPA 40, 3.7, 3.57 from highest to lowest. Very good. Okay, I think when we printed here, we got from lowest to highest there, which is natural auto sorting. Now I printed from highest to lowest there. So now you could be able to see whether you want to change it or not. That's up to you. Okay, so you don't have to change now. If it is, if you're comparing these two, then you could do positive, negative like this. Okay, so this is what with sorting based on natural order as well as overriding the natural order sorting. Okay, so thanks for your patience and listening. So make sure you work out this example.